E3 2018, Microsoft announced 4 new studios with the addition of one fully custom pool of talent known as the Initiative. 5 new studios were announced, and Microsoft just dropped the hammer with 2 more at X018. Not only that, but they've announced 16 new Game Pass games, tons of games for mouse and keyboard, a plethora of Crackdown 3 news, a bunch of really interesting statistics, and more. Safe to say there is a ton to cover in this video. Grab a drink, hit that like button, let's go. For one, they did announce several Black Friday deals, including all kinds of great savings on games, but most importantly, $100 off any Xbox One console. So that's $399 here in the States for an Xbox One X. They also talked Crackdown 3. Finally, we got a glimpse of that multiplayer officially revealed. Keep in mind, the multiplayer we had seen before was running on PC, wasn't even close to a finished prototype, and was never officially revealed to the fans. Now they've come out, shown us what the final build of multiplayer looks like, and I've got to say, if this works day one, this is by far one of the most unique things to come out this generation. Fully destructible environments powered by cloud streaming physics. This is, at the very least, extremely unique, and if it works perfectly on day one, I find it hard to believe that this game is going to flop on Metacritic. That destruction is absolutely next level. That also comes with news of its February 15th release date, which is good. They've moved that forward away from Anthem, Metro, and more. The Microsoft Store indicates that it will have 2-player co-op, not 4-player co-op, so keep that in mind, that is a possibility. Wrecking Zone is the multiplayer mode, 5 versus 5 fully destructible environments. And that is followed by the news that Crackdown 1 is free for everyone on Xbox right now. So if you don't have it, go to the store, download it for free. It is Xbox One X enhanced. And they actually had a pretty cool little skit with Terry Crews in there. Terry Crews is a very big part of this game. He's always wanted to be in a video game. He's a big gamer, and he did a great job here. Phil Spencer also came out and reconfirmed his commitment to the Xbox One X for the future. This tells me that you'll be able to use the Xbox One X in the next couple years when the next generation Xbox Scarlet codename comes out. And as I mentioned before on my Project xCloud video, you should be able to use your base Xbox One and Xbox One X for the next 5 to 7 years. And I have assumed this based on the fact that they are building their Project xCloud servers out of base Xbox One hardware. So he did double down and make sure that customers knew that their Xbox One X would be more than usable over the next half decade. He also pledged to fix the horrible Microsoft Store. A lot of people wonder why this store has been in such disarray. According to sources I know, it's because of Terry Myerson, who has recently departed the company. He simply refused to let the Xbox division take over the Windows Store. He wanted to keep them segregated. And now that that guy's gone, Phil Spencer is going to take a more personal role in ensuring the quality that customers deserve. He also confirmed something that should shut some of the critics of Game Pass down by saying that Game Pass has millions, with an S, of subscribers. $10 a month from, let's lowball it and say 2.5 million people. You're looking at $25 million plus worth of yearly revenue that they can then pump back into making more games. And that's without the additional sales brought about by Game Pass, sales of DLC, microtransactions, and more from the games that are in Game Pass. They are making a ton of money on Game Pass, and ultimately that's money they can funnel back into their own titles. Real quick, they also announced a couple different expansions, one for Sea of Thieves, that is essentially an arena mode. It's a versus mode, more of a competitive environment. If you want to go out and hunt treasure while fighting other real people in a more competitive arena environment, this arena mode, due early 2019, is the ticket for you. They also announced a November 2019 update called Shrouded Spoils. No clue what that's about, but they do have some long-reaching plans here to fill out this big world with content. State of Decay 2 announced 4 million active players, which is quite impressive, and the addition of a new Zed Hunter mode that adds crossbows and other survival gear. They are also releasing a survival-based update in 2019. This update should make it harder to survive in the zombie apocalypse. There was some other third-party stuff there. Just Cause actually had a really cool trailer. I had no interest at all in that game until I saw this trailer, and I've got to say, it did its job. I may keep an eye on this title now. I'm just hoping the frame rate is actually a frame rate with this fourth installment, because 3 absolutely crushed the CPU, and the frame rate just tanked. Minecraft also announced 91 million active users. That's insane. 91 million monthly players. That's nuts. But I am still wondering where that Xbox One X 4K patch is. Yes, the graphics pack that was announced over a year ago. Why is it taking them so long to get that out? I have no clue, especially on what appears to be the easiest console ever to develop for, the Xbox One X. I would imagine they would have had this done forever ago. So it'd be interesting to hear the story there. Tomb Raider also had another trailer debuting some new tombs and gear. You can play these solo or with a buddy. You know what? You're seeing Tomb Raider footage on your screen right now. Absolutely phenomenal game in my opinion. Really enjoyed it. Really liked Rise of the Tomb Raider. This one has much more exploration and yes, as a result, can have much less combat, but that varies per person. Some people blow right through the story. Some people take a day and explore all the tombs. One thing's for sure, I'll be revisiting the game next year when all of the tombs are present, and I'll have that last playthrough. Forza Horizon 4 also announced Fortune Island expansion, December's DLC that promises the most deadly navigation in Forza history. This includes thunderstorms and other mechanics while you are traversing some of the craziest canyons you've ever seen. Now, Game Pass had 16 new announcements. I had revealed one of them on Twitter, like many people. It was kind of common sense, but I had heard this from an inside source. I had then hinted at the second one, which was Hellblade. My hint on Twitter was, I used this gameplay footage in my 2018 Xbox One X review update video. Can you guess which one it is? And one person did get it right. Hellblade is joining Xbox Game Pass, but not this month. It's actually joining in December. Other notable additions include PUBG, yes, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, right around the same time that the PlayStation 4 version of the game is supposed to hit. Kind of an interesting tactical decision there. You've also got Ori and the Blind Forest joining in December. You've got Ori and the Will of the Wisp, of course, joining day one. Many people are wondering why that's a big announcement. Of course, it would join day one. That's not necessarily the case. Keep in mind that just because it's an exclusive console game does not mean that it's a first-party game. And first-party games are the only ones that are guaranteed to join Game Pass day one. So Ori and the Will of the Wisp, even though it's not a Microsoft-developed game, will actually be there day one. There are also a ton of smaller indie games in there as well. Not to shine the light elsewhere, but there's just a lot of information there I'm not up to date on. I haven't played a lot of these games, but the full list, of course, is online. And that list is rounded off by Agents of Mayhem, MXGP3, and more. Game Pass is looking to be a killer value. $10 a month, almost 200 games. Play all you want right there on your local hardware, ultra low latency. It is a great value. And there are a ton of other great games in there as well. Phil Spencer doubled down on the fact that they're selling even more games than ever now that they've got Game Pass. Many people thought it would kill sales. That's not true. So things seem to be going the right direction there with Game Pass. Final Fantasy is also getting a ton of support on Xbox. You're getting 7, you're getting 9, you're getting 10, 10.2, and 12, all coming to Xbox One next year, along with several backwards compatible Final Fantasy titles. So if you're looking forward to Final Fantasy, if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, you got a lot of stuff to be excited about. Matt Booty did come out on stage and announce 2 new studio acquisitions, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. One of them is In Exile, developers of The Wasteland and A Bard's Tale. This is a primarily RPG studio, and of course they did double down and say they are going to be focusing on role-playing games. And now with a bigger budget and potentially bigger team, hopefully their full potential is unlocked. Remember, Microsoft's goal isn't to go out and buy the EAs of the world. Their goal is to go buy somebody like In Exile and build them up. Take something that is worth a fraction of what it could be and bring out that full potential through employment and resources. Secondly, he announced Obsidian Entertainment. As I've talked about several times in the past, this is all but confirmed at the time and has finally been unveiled. Obsidian, makers of Fallout New Vegas, South Park: The Stick of Truth, Knights of the Old Republic 2, and so much more, have been acquired by Microsoft. They now make Xbox exclusive titles. Now, according to rumors, they have a current contract with 2K Games. They are working with 2K on something. I'm not sure how that's all going to turn out, if they're going to be able to keep that title, if they're going to have to release that on PlayStation, or if Microsoft bought that contract out. I've got no clue, but it'll be very interesting to see how things go there. Obsidian have been on the edge of bankruptcy a few different times and have made some extremely great games, but in their financial crisis have made some duds as well. It seems to me that Obsidian does well when Obsidian has the resources they need. And through Microsoft, through Xbox, they should be able to realize their full potential. Keep an eye out for Obsidian's next project. They are now one of the front-runner studios for Microsoft, and that is based off of their pedigree alone. Now, before the end of the interview, Matt Booty, head of Microsoft Games, did say something very interesting. He said that you will see some of these games soon from some of these teams that they have acquired. Keep in mind, these teams have not been sitting on their hands. They have been actively developing new titles. Ninja Theory have been working on a new game since before Hellblade launched on the PS4. They were in pre-production and now are undoubtedly, almost 2 years later, far into development. And with Microsoft funds and employment there, they are now able to make progress faster than ever. The last big announcement for Inside Xbox at X018 was that of mouse and keyboard support. Team Xbox finally gave us an idea of what kind of games are going to be supported by mouse and keyboard. Now, there are a ton of games here, and I will list some of the most notable ones according to my own knowledge. They range from DayZ, Warframe, Deep Rock Galactic, Warhammer Vermintide 2, Vigor, War Thunder, Fortnite, and more. There are a lot of games that now will support mouse and keyboard, and I only hope that developers are smart enough to include filters to avoid players on mouse and keyboard if you desire. Keep in mind, mouse and keyboard does have a significant advantage over controller, and I'm sure we'll have a few of you saying, I beat mouse and keyboard all the time. You don't beat a good mouse and keyboard all the time, trust me. Very significant advantage there, and hopefully developers do the right thing, give players the choice to play with controller-only opponents. They did say that any mouse and keyboard will work with the Xbox One, Xbox One X, but they are partnering with Razer for their official, built-from-the-ground-up mouse and keyboard. Pick your poison, it really doesn't matter. Long story short, you'll be able to try mouse and keyboard using your very own mouse and keyboard very soon. Now, personally, I was hoping that Rise of Nations would come to console through mouse and keyboard support, but it turns out there is no PC game coming to console that is being enabled and unlocked due to this mouse and keyboard support, at least not right now. There were heavy rumors that something like Rise of Nations was coming to Xbox One, but at least right now, that is not the case. It'll be interesting to see if they manage to bring over some other more mouse and keyboard centric titles over time. And there you have it, guys. That was X018 Inside Xbox for November 2018. Tons of information regarding Game Pass, Forza Horizon, new updates for Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, mouse and keyboard support, 2 new studio acquisitions, which is by far the biggest news of the show. And overall, I would say it was alright. It had a lot of interesting stuff. Devil May Cry 5 was there. I didn't list every single thing, but I feel like I got the most newsworthy stuff in my best effort to save you guys time. You know, I don't like to waste time on videos and have a 50,000 year long video. I like to keep things straight to the point when possible, unlike what I'm doing now. So thank you so much for hitting this video off. Hit that like button, it's really appreciated. Maybe share this with a buddy or two. And if you're new, subscribe for more stuff. Big shout out to the patrons. I'm going to start having a video at the end of every video sometime here soon, scrolling through you guys' names for the support you offer the channel. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the quality of the channel has skyrocketed since I've started Patreon. I've been able to invest both funds and time into better video production. It's not one of those things where I'm like, well, now I can finally speak my true opinions because Patreon. No, I've always spoke my true opinions. You guys know this. What it's enabled me to do is keep the channel mostly ad-free while upping production value phenomenally, in my opinion, but of course I'm biased. Anyway, enjoy some of the best looking gameplay you've ever seen in your life. I'm Dealer. I'm out.